doing the speed brake open on this wing. So you got the actuators that are angled for that, and you can see they don't line up. Really, that the speed brake needs to be open more. So I'm going to have to modify either the speed brake or the actuators. I can't get that with that on. They're very fiddly. God's truth. So yes, I'm going to cut off these tabs to start with because they're too big, and on the angle that's working against it, not with it. Anyway, I'll have to come up with something there. Just gluing the rear of the wing section on top of the engine. I'm going to have to putty that and get rid of that seam. You can see the other side's a better fit. So I put in all my putty last time I worked on this so I could dry a few days. Now I'm cleaning them up. I used that perfect plastic putty, the water soluble one. You can see how ugly that looks, but it's no big deal because it's water soluble. Just some tap water, cotton bud, really wet one up and just put it over it, and I did that to all of it. Then I come back and then start working it off. So I put it on so thick to allow for shrinkage. You're going to go through quite a few of these doing this, but I just get them from like a cheap shop. You get packs of 200 or something for just a few bucks. So when you first saw that lump there, you think, Jesus, how much gap is there? It's not much, but I want to make sure that I had it covered. So in your angled areas, bite the tip, flatten it down so you can get in there. That'll do for a minute. I still need to clean that out better, but I don't want to bore you to tears. So afterwards, if you get putty in your panel lines, just get a needle and just go over, run it through the panel line. You can get that putty out. Same as rivets. If you get it in the rivets, just push it in the rivets and dig it out. Now, for this join, where the wing piece meets the engine part, that's not a natural panel on, so I don't use that perfect plastic putty. I usually use that in areas that are natural panel on. Cleaning this one up, I would use the Tamiya white putty, but that you need to let dry overnight at least. I want to get a move on. It's got a bottle cap, and I put some CA glue. I'm not saying use this brand, whatever glue you use is fine. This is just what I'm using at the moment. It made up a little, it's just a bamboo skewer with a bit of wire on it, so it can be a bit more subtle with the application of the glue. I'm not wearing my magnifying glass at the moment, so when that goes off, which won't be long, then I'll come in, sand it back and polish it out, and that'll take care of that join, and same again on that side. Alright, so I've cleaned up those engines, put on the stabilisers. They are single piece each one, so which I like. I hate doing halves of things like that. I've just had a look to see how this windscreen will fit. It's not brilliant, so it needs to be flush with back here, and the front of the windscreen sits on top of the fuselage, so it's going to be a bit of a process getting this on, and it's going to need some filler by the looks of it. Just don't look right to me. So I might have to, I don't know, thin the clear on the bottom, or yeah, it's so I thought it might slot in, but I don't. I had a look at some aircraft images online. I don't think that's the case, but I'm gonna have to investigate better. It just don't look right. There's my wing. So the speed brake, what I did was the slots that are on that speed brake, I filled them in and sanded it flush again, because these didn't really line up properly. And I scored a couple of these, the actuator, so they could flex to glue them, get them flush against the speed brake. So when it goes on, it'll plug in here. Come on. That's not quite, I'm going to glue it, I'm going to have to hold it, get it level. And then this piece sits in the top there. Again, I've got to modify this because it's not going to fit. I'm going to have to remove these because they're sitting too high, and that's stopping that sitting in there. So I think it might need a bit of filler in it too when it goes on. I don't think it's going to be a perfect fit. Okay, that's a dry fit of the speed brake. So I cleaned out the holes on the fuselage just with a blade, so I can just fit them in. Let's take that off again before I bump dump it. I've put on all the air scoops and lumps and bumps as heaps, and all of them have tabs that fit into holes, and all of them were too big. I had to trim them all, or some of them I just cut the tab right off because it was just, they're so small, it's hard to try and hold it and chop pieces off it. They don't go pinging off into nowhere. So yeah, that was a bit painful. All those scoops in here, my nose weights come loose. Still got a couple more piece goes on the either side of the intakes, but I don't want to, little tiny parts, I don't want to put them in yet because I will probably knock them off at some stage. This is the folded wing. So there's, for the folded wing, there's these pieces go on the end, which I've put on, so that one and that one, so they're on. I haven't tried the fit at all or anything yet. There's a piece that'll go in to support it, which I have not tried yet. And also, I should have, I've missed it before, there's a piece, which is that one, that also goes in, which will help support this wing. When it goes on, I'm not gluing that on yet until I sort out the windscreen, because it's not, as I mentioned earlier, it's not a good fit. Now, I've come to my conclusion. I think the edge of the windscreen should be flush with the fuselage, not sitting on top of it. That's how I can get a better fit. It's not, I still haven't got it perfect, but you can see it's got to come back a bit more. If I can get it back that far, it's flush with the rear, and it's a better fit. That's still not far from brilliant. I might keep fiddling around with this part. I know what's going to happen. I'm going to crack a windscreen. It's just not a good fit at all, in my opinion. Unless I'm doing something wrong, which I don't think so. And I thought, oh, I'll try and put this in and see if that helps, but that doesn't help. There's a slot inside I thought that goes down into, but that's too big for that slot, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to, so that will come in later. But that's, again, until I get the windscreen right, that's not going to fit. I'm probably going to, I don't know, maybe I've scraped a bit out of here on either side, and I've scraped the inside of here on an angle, though not straight on, because I don't want to lose depth. Otherwise, then I'm going to cause more damage than good. So I'll probably try and get a little bit more out of the actual fuselage, I think, before yeah, I'm disappointed with that. I don't know what's going on. But otherwise, it's just about all done for the fuselage. I think I could do the gear doors, prepare them, but they'll be painted off. And the steps, I'll have them open as well. I'll paint that again anyway, all that same as the nose gear bay. This scheme is white on the underside anyway. Yeah, gear doors, a couple of actuators, and the pylons, and then I need to work out what load out I'm doing, so I'm going to have a look at some images, see if I can find some pictures of the aircraft loaded up. They do give you a call out, but I usually try and see if I can find something online just to confirm that what they said is correct. I might, yeah, I'd like to do the Mark 82s. I like aircraft, look good loaded up with them, and a couple of drop tanks, something like that, but I'll see you again once I have a look at some images. But yeah, so it's getting there. Well, I've had a look on Google of images of A6As in Vietnam and their weapons loadouts. I'm not putting any of these images on here. I don't want to get done for copyright, and I shouldn't be robbing people of their material. One of the best images I saw was it had 4 multiple ejection racks, so inner pylon and outer pylon, all loaded up. I don't know if it was Mark 81s or Mark 82s, but that's pretty impressive. They can carry a bit of weight. And there is lots of images and lots of different loadout options. That set up with the 4 multiple ejection racks. I've also seen an image, one sitting on the carrier with it'll load up with the Mark 20 cluster bombs, but for some reason I always avoid them. I don't like them. I think it's the they look pretty basic and they're just white. I like more conventional bombs, the olive drab with the yellow bands and the pin, arming pin on the front. They just, it's visually more to look at on the model. That's obviously, that's a personal thing. That's just how I like it displayed. Now, normally Trumpeter and Hobby Boss will give you that many weapons. You could do 10 models, and although there is quite a few weapons in this boxing, unfortunately you can only do 6 Mark 81s and you can do 6 Mark 82s. Now, my original thought was, oh, I'll do 12 Mark 81s and I'll do the multiple ejection rack inner wing. I can't do that now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one rack will have the Mark 81s and one rack is going to have the Mark 82s. Now, I know the aircraft probably would never have been armed like that, but I'm already going off the normal with the one wing up, one wing down. And yes, you could raid your spares box to make them even, but if I'm happy with how this build turns out, I'm probably going to use it, enter it in QMHE this year. And because I've got this bland cockpit with no aftermarket, I would enter it as in out of box category, which is judged differently to one if you had your aftermarket resin and whatnot. So I'm going to stick with what's in the box. Otherwise, if I go raiding a spares box, it's no longer out of box build, and not much point putting it in a category where another model will have all resin and you're never going to do any good. So yeah, I'll do that. 6 Mark 81s and 6 Mark 82s on the other side, and I'm doing the centerline drop tank and Mark 117 bomb single just on the outer pylons. So yeah, that's how I'm going to go with it.